Hi folks, welcome back. It's been a very long time since I did a video. I think 4 years as one person pointed out. But life gets busy and you get into a lot of things and a lot of irons in the fire. Today I wanted to show you one of the things I have been doing. If you remember, I was doing an in-scale layout. It's actually down there underneath this big layout that I'm working on. We have moved since my last video and we have a new house. My wife was kind enough to let me have this small room in the basement to do this layout in, and it's perfect for what I want. Behind me is my workbench where I'm doing all the things. I'll show you that in just a second. I have an old clock here. That's another little hobby that I do. This one is from 1830, almost 200 years old, and it runs very well. Has wooden gears inside. One day I'll do a video on that as well. Anyway, today's video is on the Rio Grande Southern Crystal River Division. This is my HOn3 layout. It's overall 10 feet by 11.5 feet. I'm going to put up the track plane right now. You can see this is going to operate as a point-to-point layout from Crystal River to Ridgeway, or Ridgeway to Crystal River, whichever. It will have a branch line coming off of it to go to another little town up a little higher called Eureka. Now, this is a narrow gauge Odyssey layout. This layout has no intention of being anything like the prototype Rio Grande Southern other than some of the equipment. And there may be some things here and there that will be prototypical Rio Grande Southern. You see a little 40 here. That's a prototypically correct locomotive. So this is a narrow gauge Odyssey. Lots of things narrow gauge, from narrow gauges all over the country that I really admire and enjoy. And it's just going to be a fun narrow gauge layout, very freelance. In fact, what you see in front of you is a model of the E10WNC's covered bridge at Hampton, which is only about 45 minutes from where I live now, or at least it was. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and we'll take you on a quick layout tour, and then I will try to do more videos as things come along. Okay, what you see there is my workbench. I've got some shingles that I'm working on for the depot you'll see in a few minutes. There, it's a small space, but it seems to work pretty well, and I'm still getting things organized, although it's a little messy right now because I've been working on the depot. I also use this space to work on antique clocks, but you have to clear everything off. And I also use that space to get film off of the reels and into the developing tanks for my film cameras that I like to shoot with. I have to clean everything up to do those other activities, but today it's a model railroading bench. Okay, right here is the beginning of Ridgeway, and what you're seeing here is where the lift out starts right there. And as it comes across there, I've got a small yard in the back, 2 tracks right now. There'll be a 3rd track, actually, and a 4th industry track in that small space. It's relatively short, but it's the space ahead, so there it is. Again, this has very little relation to the real Ridgeway, other than the fact that it was on the Rio Grande Southern. This is the depot kit that I've got. It's a Horseshoe Meadow depot kit. This was put out by several companies, but this particular one was Railway Engineering. It's an older kit, but it's going to be a cool one. I can't wait to put it together. Not the Ridgeway depot, but it's my Ridgeway depot, and that's okay. There's a sign my wife helped me make with her Cricut for Ridgeway. It'll actually be on the fascia. And then the main line and the yard track you see there together. And then over here in the corner, we have where the Ridgeway roundhouse will be and a gallows frame turntable. Ridgeway didn't have a gallows frame turntable, but my Ridgeway does. And the turntable, the roundhouse will be back there over top of the locomotives. Those are my Blackstone locomotives. I have 5 of them, really. One of them's being serviced by Blackstone right now. And a Concord Galloping Goose that I upgraded with Tsunami Digital Sound, and upgraded the lighting as well on it. I'll do another video on that sometime. Okay, on that turntable, this is the way I came up with to set it up. So these toggle switches here turn the power off and on to the turntable tracks. The R's are the roundhouse tracks, S's are the stub tracks. Don't have any of the stub tracks in yet, but all the roundhouse tracks are down there. Also, over here you see the controls for the actual turntable itself. There's a direction switch, so you can turn the direction either way. There's a power switch to turn on the circuit, and you see there's a power meter there, and then this rotary switch here controls how much power is going to the motor. According to Simon at Kitwood Hills, you want 1, 2, and 3 volts. So 1, 2, and 3 volts is exactly what we have, using buck converters off of a standard wall wart to power the circuit. And then just for fun, I put in a little voltmeter, and you can see it's pretty close to 1, 2, and 3 volts. Now the first area I want to show you here is Lonesome Gulch. I do think this will be my first scenery area, though I haven't really done much to it. This will be Charlie Russell's little gulch where he's going to live. And some of you may know Charlie was a famous artist and storyteller of Western stories, and I love Charlie Russell. So this bridge kit was an old kit that I got off of eBay. I'm not even sure who made it, but it was old. It's old yellow construction sheet, but it actually came out pretty well. That's most of the original materials. May have added a few other pieces of sticks here and there as need be. So again, this will be landscaped underneath. This is actually Charlie's house. This one and this other one were both Campbell bunkhouse models, and I just added a bump out on this one and a chimney, Model Tech Studios, I think, on that chimney, and some shake shingles that I did here. This will be lit with a flickering yellow LED, and of course it'll have details and whatnot. And it'll actually be back behind the trestle. So I want this to have things that you discover as you move along. This is the other bunkhouse. I haven't weathered the roof yet, as you can see how shiny it is, but I'll get to that. Okay, the next section I want to show you is Saddle Sore. This will be the first little hamlet, rather, and not very far from Ridgeway, but this is the junction point where the train will go up through Wizard Head Pass, not Lizard Head as on the RGS, but a Wizard to Eureka. But at Saddle Sore, there's also a mine. That's going to be, that's the Coeur d'Alene mine kit from Builders and Scale over there. But this is going to be the Curly Cash mine. Saddle Sore is named for an old cowboy show that we used to have, as some friends of mine and I used to do. And so it's named in honor of that. And so Curly Cash was one of my cowboy buddies. And the other things there will probably be named for the other guys. But there's the station. That's a Middletown station kit by railroadkits.com. I picked it up at a train show a couple of years back and finally getting around to building it. It's not done. It's getting a shake roof. And the roof's going to be removable with lighting and maybe a small interior in the passenger section at least. And I may also add some extra boardwalks and things like that. The track is not actually laid. It's just sort of sitting there for the branch line. The main line is laid and put down. And I may have sort of like a Forks Creek kind of restaurant dangling off the edge there as well. And this hopefully will be separated by large mountains all over the place. All right, after Saddle Sore, the main line's going to dip down here past this curve switch that I got. I didn't build that. I got that from a fella online, Jamestown Trains, I believe. He did a good job with it too. This is the passing siding of Subpar, which is sort of a nod to Sublet on the Cumbres and Toltec. There will probably be a water tower here at some point nearby here. It may be closer into St. Elmo, we'll see. And there may be a stock pen there as well. There's going to be a gigantic mountain in the back, so you will not be able to see the other side of the layout from here. But here's a couple of things in St. Elmo. There is Fine Scales miniature water tower I picked up at a train show that I'm really excited about building. No, it was not $4.95 at the train show. Those things are hard to find. And this is where St. Elmo is going to be. The depot will be right here in the middle, and there will be other stuff in the back, you know, a big mountain in the back, that sort of thing. That station kit here again, St. Elmo was a real place, but it was on the Colorado and Southern, I believe. This depot is not a Colorado and Southern. This is a micro-scale models old kit that I'm really excited about doing as well. But anyway, this is St. Elmo. All right, this is the my biggest trestle on the line. It's 2 feet long. I'm not even sure how tall it is. Anyway, this is kind of cobbled together from a couple of kits, and maybe you could say inspired by the trestle at Ophir. It's not the trestle at Ophir, but it's inspired by it. I'll get you put up a picture of the side of it here in just a second, or maybe we'll move around. This is cobbled together from an old Starline kit. These smaller bents here are based on the Starline kit, which is also a very old kit. And then the larger bents here, the three of them stacked together underneath each side of the HOn3 truss, those actually came off the pattern for the other bridge that you saw a minute ago. The rails are spiked to it. I've got fire barrels up here and everything. Did not put guardrails on it. Got lazy, got tired by the time I got done with it. But I think it looks okay, and maybe down the road I can put them on. The bridge is removable, so I can do the scenery underneath. The other bridge is removable as well. That center HOn3 truss kit was another old stock kit. It was really cool. It went together very well, beautifully done kit. And that bridge took a lot of time. There's a lot of hours in that thing. But anyway, that's the big bridge there. There's a side view of the bridge. You can kind of see that HOn3 truss. It's a neat HOn3 truss. It went really well together. And then the last section we're going to go through here, under Dragon's Tunnel there, that'll be a surprise. I'll tell you about that a little bit later on, another video. But on top of that will be Eureka, about 4 inches above that or so. And then after that, it will come out of another tunnel. So that'll be mostly hidden track back there. That'll help it sort of feel like a longer layout. Now we're going to come into Crystal River here. Crystal River never existed anywhere I know of except for in the movie Maverick with Mel Gibson and James Garner, which is a great movie if you ever like Westerns. But anyway, Crystal River is a river town. It's got a navigable river. The Rio Grande Southern never went near a navigable river, but that's okay. Mine does. So I'm going to have a steamboat here and everything like that. The station is the Small Town Station Kit from Fine Scale Miniatures. Another station I'm excited to build but haven't had time to. And those are hard to find too, but I was excited to get that. My wife got me that for Christmas, so that was great. There's a nice long, there'll be sort of an industry in the back there, and some Wild West town types of things here. And that's the low area where the river is going to be. That's sort of jumper wire for the time being till the yard tracks will be back there. And then it's going to come back around to the bridge. Now, I'm calling this bridge area here Deception Creek because the train shouldn't be able to jump from one place to the other. And in normal operations, I want to do a point. Over at Crystal River, I'm hoping to get another turntable so I can turn the trains and go back the other way, or turn the locomotives. But we'll see what we're able to do. The last thing I want to show you is this. This is a Wi-Fi tracks module that is available on eBay, and I think from another online place you can just search Wi-Fi tracks. This plugs directly into your NCE system here with this connection right into the cab bus. And I'm using an older power cab, and I'm going to have to upgrade to an SB5 eventually. But this thing allows you to use any Wi-Fi device to run trains, and you can run up to 4 throttles on this by itself. You can hook to your home Wi-Fi and do 8 throttles, but 4 is more than I'm ever going to need. And so you just use your phone. So what you got is an app here on your phone, and you can actually name the functions, which I really like because I can never remember what F6 or 7 does or whatever. But anyway, this way you can name the function, so I can hear the lights and the bell and the whistle and that sort of thing. You can control the speed, and there's different versions of the throttle that you can set up too. And you can go over here and go to your roster, recent ones, or your roster. I don't have that many locomotives on here, but you can see your roster, and you can set up each one individually. So I wasn't sure how I would like this, but honestly, I really do. And it's easy to work with, and you can use any Wi-Fi device you have. If you're using an older device, I've noticed it takes a little bit of time to connect to the system. So just be patient with it. It will connect. It just seems to take a few minutes. But once it does, it's fine, and everything works well. This is a great way to control it, walk around, and a heck of a lot cheaper than anything NCE offers for a walk around. I think it was like $100 for that chip. And you can't even buy a wireless throttle for $100. And I can have 4 of them. Everybody's got a Wi-Fi device, and WeThrottle is free. This is the professional, the full version of WeThrottle that was only $10. Well worth the money. Well, folks, thanks for stopping by. I just wanted to show you where I've been with things and what I've been doing. It is a lot of work, although it doesn't look like it, I think, at times when I'm looking at it. But I thank you for stopping by. Hopefully I will be able to get some more videos going soon, show you some more specific things that we're doing with the layout, and go from there. Thanks again, and I appreciate you watching.